There was an opinion piece that was actually wrote in the LA Times that I wanted to look at, because this is something we kind of talked about on the podcast a little bit, about why, black immigrants are more preferred in America than black Americans. And before I get into this, opinion piece, and it's something that we've discussed before, my position here and what we promote, I promote black unity everywhere. I don't believe in tribalism. I don't believe in divisions. I don't believe in any of that, because I have seen tribalism has gotten us colonized and enslaved every time we have tribalism. Okay. I have not seen benefits of tribalism. I just haven't seen it. If I've seen it, I'll be the biggest tribalist out there. I'll be promoting it. We look at things like what happened in Rwanda, tribalism. You look at the war in Liberia, tribalism. You understand what I'm saying? Even though they had outside forces that got involved to spark a lot of that off, and that's usually how it goes, is outside forces. But when I've seen unification just in pockets, I've seen black people obtain freedom through unification. You understand? Like, for instance, the civil rights movement, how we obtained, and got up underneath the yoke of these white supremacists. You understand? We have the slave rebellions. That's black people unifying, right? You look at what happened in South Africa. People unified to get from underneath apartheid, just to give a few examples, right? So it's more power in black unification than black separation or black tribalism, because we don't have the tribalist power, I'm gonna say, within the particular groups to make things do well. But when we come together and understand, they want to keep us separated. They want to, and we're gonna get into the conversations that that comes up, because it's logical at the end of the day what goes on. But this is going to talk about what also keeps the problem going and what creates these diaspora wars. Understand? The white supremacist is the author of the diaspora wars. Understand that. If you don't realize the white supremacist is doing all the puppet mastering of the diaspora wars, then you're not paying attention. And he really got you fooled if you really think that your enemy is your other brother from an immigrant group that come in here. No, I'm gonna talk about how the white supremacist is the author of the diaspora wars and how he benefits from the diaspora wars. So in this particular piece, there's one sister that wrote the piece. Her name is Erin Logan. I looked her up, okay, on Twitter. And she was saying in her opinion piece that she had told her high school teacher that she wanted to be president. And, he told her that to pick a more realistic profession for a black woman. Now, she said that his comment stunned her, saying at the time Barack Obama was in his 4th year as president, but the teacher, he said, who was a Mzungu, thought a black politician had made it to the White House only because of severe economic downturn and slowly changing electorate. They said most white Americans did not vote for Obama in either 2008 or 2012 election, and the backlash against him began immediately after he took office. Yes, they were killing black folks left and right. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Now, she says that perhaps I could beat the odds, my teacher said. He said, but history suggested that an imagined campaign was there on the arrival. See, this is why we need to have black teachers and have schools created for us, because what defeats our children and what gives our children low self-esteem and our children coming out of school feeling, less than, is white supremacist teachers. Because see, why would this teacher tell a black girl who wants to be president, why would you tell her, pick something more realistic? Basically, you can't attain that because you're a young black girl. You understand what I'm saying? These are the people that's instilling all the problems that we have, like colorism, right? That conversation comes up. They're the one that instilled colorism. They're the ones that created it. They're the ones that actually keep it going too. You guys fight each other and don't even look at the white supremacist that's has his hands all involved in our issues and problems. That's why it amazes me to even watch people doing the same things I've seen on YouTube in the past that we got over, and you literally repeat and starting to repeat something that we already seen and got past. But we'll get to talking about that a little later too, as well, because you are working for white supremacy as well when you do that mess. So the sister said she had dreamed of becoming president since the second grade and said the country is full of incompetent leaders who make terrible decisions. Yes. Look at your $600 stimulus check you're going to get. And y'all allow that to happen? Let me tell you something about that. I don't understand why all of you are in Washington protesting those senators and Congress people. How do you sit up there and keep sending the same people back to Washington all those years? Listen, if you live in a Republican area and you want to stick Republican, do you have to keep sending Mitch McConnell up there? Can you pick a younger Republican to go up there? Can you? Can you keep sending Nancy Pelosi up there? You can't pick a younger Democrat? They have new ideas to go up there. All these people that's been up there 40 and 50 years. Dianne Feinstein had to step down because the lady was getting in that part of her life where she's losing her memory. And they had to encourage her to step down. Like, it has to get to that point for you to step down, or you have to die like John Lewis or Elijah Cummings. You can't step aside and let another brother or sister take over where you left off and say, look, I appreciate you, but let me step in now and bring in these new ideas. That's a big problem in America, too. Y'all don't see that as a problem? You wonder why this country don't change? Just because you have people been up there that's been born in the 50s and 40s. Like, come on, bring some new people in. And then they're hostile against younger people when they go up there, unless they go along to what they say. But, you know, it just giving you guys some common sense. No matter how you vote, it's your business. Now, the young sister at the time said she believes she could do better. She said, but my religious teacher analysis said triggered her. She said, which worsened after Donald Trump's uncouth appeals to, she said, white racist sentiment, right? So she talked about Stacey Abrams and how, you know, she almost won for governor up there in Georgia. But then she said this. She said that, but it would be hard to imagine a woman like Abrams prevailing in a nationwide contest. So they say you're probably thinking, you know, well, you got Kamala Harris. But and she's admitting that it was great to see that. But, you know, now Kamala Harris literally was destroyed in a debate by Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard got her so good. I'm like, Kamala couldn't say nothing. I guess people forget about that. Go watch that tape, right? And I'm not no Tulsi Gabbard fan. I'm just saying just what it is. I mean, she literally laid it out to her. Now, they're talking about, of course, you know, Kamala, you know, she comes from a HBCU, but her heritage is Caribbean and South Asian heritage, to say, which is the writer saying it's unorthodox. They said, but Harris's cosmopolitan immigrant background is which is uncanny parallels to Barack Obama's. It said, make me wonder if a woman like me, which is a black woman of two black parents that has a lineage and descendants of, you know, the people of this land, you say that who are enslaved in America, she said, could ever be viable on a presidential ticket. He said Obama and Harris both grew up, he said abroad. He said Obama in Indonesia. He said Harris in Canada. He said both had immigrant parents. He said Obama's father was Kenyan and Harris's father is Jamaican, her mother is Indian. He said both had fathers who were academic economists and mothers with PhDs, Obama's in anthropology and Harris's in nutrition and endocrinology, okay? They said, but both were born in the early 60s. Said Obama's 59, Harris is 56 at the time when America was, you know, having a big societal change. Say, but unlike Harris and Obama, she says that I can't claim any particular nation as an ancestral homeland. He said, my ancestors was kidnapped and forcibly separated from their families, languages, and traditions, just as much as my ancestors have. I trace my ancestors all the way back to the continent of Africa, to them landing in Virginia, to them being sold and brought down to Louisiana to work on sugarcane plantations. My great grandmother and grandfather were slaves, not too far back. So the sister also wrote, I see my heritage as uniquely American, and though the history is horrific and bloody, I take pride, she said, in her ancestors' fortitude and strength, but leaning to my heritage and the campaign trail would like to turn off some voters because it will resurface an ugly history they wish to forget. This is what they were saying. So what she's talking about here is that I said that in a podcast, if you had watched it, when Mzungu society looks at people like me and the writer, they see the past. They see the slavery. They see the medical apartheid. They see the redlining. They see the Jim Crow. They see the Ku Klux Klan. They see everything they have done to us in the past, and even the thing they've done to us now, like George Floyd. And when I say done to us, we talking about as a collective in a system of white supremacy. Breonna Taylor, their attitudes toward things like that, not wanting the race soldiers punished. They see all that when they see me and you. Just a mere look of us. They see that, and they know that guilt and condemnation, and they wear that no matter what, because they never rectified that, and they don't want to. But when they see a Barack Obama, when they see a Kamala Harris, they don't see that. They see a foreign black person. They know they black. They're going to call them the N-word. They call Obama all kind of monkeys and N-words, right? And they know he had a lily white mama, but they still call him all kind of N-words. They had lynching effigies of Obama. I remember that during his presidency, because we covered that over the years. But he and Kamala Harris or any black immigrant do not have our story. When they talk to them, they don't feel that guilt, shame, and condemnation, because they say, well, I didn't do that to a Haitian. We didn't do that to a Nigerian. We didn't do anything like that to a person from Sierra Leone if they come over here. So I'm cool. I feel much better with myself being around a foreign black person. Then at the same time, they make sure the right kind of foreign black people come over here. Let me say that, because they don't want the black man and woman that have the attitudes like Julius Malema immigrating over here. They don't want that. They want a brother like PLO Lumumba or a sister like that immigrating to America. They don't want a Thomas Sankara or a sister that think like that immigrating over here to America. They don't want that. So they make sure when they try to get their visas, they thoroughly vet them, and they make sure they part of the shuck and jiving class of African nations. They sell outs over there. Trust me on that. They sell them out to the Mzungu all day long in their home countries. Then they say, okay, you're a good sellout. You're not gonna fight the system. You're gonna go along to get along. Matter of fact, shoot, I know you got some attitudes against black Americans because you hate them too, just like us. Cool. You could come over here. And then they come over here, right? Then when they come over here, they a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them have anti-black sentiments. Okay? What happens with that is that the white supremacists enforce that attitude and say, hey, Jean from Haiti, you're not like them black Americans. You work hard. You know, they lazy. You work so hard, and your people work hard. But yet them same people ruined Haiti. You understand? They got the people suffering in Haiti, but yet they'll go and say, oh, you just work so hard. And never wear that I work so hard around you like it's great to hear them tell you work hard. Because anybody quote unquote work hard usually end up with a broken back and poor. Let me repeat that again. Anyone that quote unquote just work hard all their life end up with a broken back and poor. They don't end up with anything. Notice the people that got the money, they don't work hard. They work smart. They pay other people to work hard. No, what you need to have pride in, say, I'm a person and I'm a smart entrepreneur, and I make sure I work smart and I use my brain. I use my brain a lot more than I use any brawn I have any day of the week. And any black person who is an entrepreneur and use this muscle a lot more than any other muscle that you have on your back, that's what you want to pride yourself on. Not that you could just work hard for somebody else. See, black Americans were hard workers too when they were slaves. But the moment we got out the plantation, all of a sudden we became lazy. Like, y'all the wrong people to ever call us lazy. You didn't build crap. My ancestors built everything. Innovated the majority of things in this country. Like I say, you wouldn't have open heart surgery. It wouldn't be for black people. That's us right there. You wouldn't have that red light. That's us right there. You wouldn't have a gas mask. That's us. You didn't do everything. What are you talking about? Refrigerated truck. That's us. GPS. That's black Americans. Like you didn't do that. The only reason you got to a moon because of black American women. That's all us right there. You wouldn't even have astronomy if it wouldn't be for Benjamin Banneker. That's us again. So you're the last group of people could tell black Americans that they're lazy. Because we were truly lazy, this would be not, it'd be worse off than what it is. We were truly lazy and we were all left up to them. But they want to make sure, like I said, to keep the diaspora wars going. So what they do is they make sure to give black immigrants more access. They'll say, hey, the Democrat Party has had an active plan to bolster up and prop up black immigrants. And if you look at the CBC, most of them are immigrants from somewhere else, either they first generation or second generation. They are. Why? They may talk about racism, but it's not like me and you talk about it, because we got, ancestors that's here that has a lineage from here, right? And they owe a debt to us. They don't owe a debt to no one in the Caribbean. They don't owe a debt to someone in the continent of Africa, even though they've done things in the Caribbean that they should be paying for. And they sure done things in the continent of Africa. And also, we have to look at, they don't want us to unify. So they definitely going to try to keep us separated. They don't try to keep unification away from other groups. They just want to make sure that we're not unified. You understand? So you look at all the diaspora wars that you see going on, okay? And you look at why they promote certain people, but they would never promote, like I said, a black woman who come from two black parents. See, when people got mad with Morgan Freeman a few years ago, when they said about, Barack Obama was the first black president, he said, no, he's the first biracial president to have a black, parent, but he's not the first black, parent. And it ain't like he said that, but I get what he's saying. Like, we haven't had a black president that come from our experiences. We have not had that. We had a black first lady that come from our experiences. And then we have seen that Barack Obama, when he was the president, we seen his upbringing come out, because you understand he was raised with his white grandmother and grandmother and his white family. That's why he would talk to black folks the way he would talk to them, especially black men, because this country believes they don't have to respect a black man at all. A black man can't have an opinion for anything. A black man can't assert himself. A black man can't even say what he wants. He just needs to shut up and go along and get along and follow behind the skirt of black women. That's all he needs to do. This is why, I'm just bringing this up because I have to. This is why when people are talking about the situation with the brother, Kevin Samuels that we interviewed about a year ago, people making a big deal what the brother said to the woman. But the fact is, the issue with that is that you just mad a black man said that, because if another group of men said that, it would have been taken a lot different. They don't want black men to have no opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I'm a firm believer black men need to roar as much as possible. Roar loud is all you want. But the puppet master of these diaspora wars, the puppet master of the contentions, is the white supremacists, because they benefit off of that. Didn't Joe Biden admit they're in a great decline? Didn't he admit that? He admitted it. So in order for them to keep power, in order for them to keep doing what they're doing, they're going to have to keep black folks apart, some way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's all done by design. All of it. You guys got to understand that. This is why it's hard to go to someone like Kamala and say, hey, we're talking about reparations. That's why she said, well, I'm not going to do something for black people. No. Now, if she came from our lineage, she would understand why black people saying you need to do something for us. When black folks said that, they never not said one time you can't do nothing for nobody else. That's not what was being said. But see, when you don't come from us and know why we saying that, that's why you take it a different way. Yeah, you may look black and may have some mannerisms here and there, but you don't understand. Like, I would never want to go to an African nation and get involved in their politics and try to take over their politics and then do them wrong. I would never do that. I would stay in my place on that. I don't know their history. I don't know what they're fighting for. That's the last thing I'm trying to do is come over and do that. No. I mean, you want some advice from me? Cool. I'll give you advice all day long. But I'm not trying to take over your politics because I don't want to say nothing out of place. I understand that I'll be a black American and I'm not trying to go over there and put my foot in something that I don't know nothing about. But over here it's different because it's encouraged to try to put your foot in things that you don't even know. The proper position would be is to be supportive of what Black Americans are saying. And say, okay, listen, I am from somewhere else, but I get my cues from Black America. That's where I get my cues from. I said, because they know what's up over here. You know what I'm saying? But you have, like I said, the shucking and jiving class come over here and they want to be with white mommy and white daddy. And we got to contend with that, which we didn't have to contend with that during the civil rights movement. So the writer, talked about that voters themselves see the difference. And when she means voters, she's definitely meaning, the Mzungu voter. They feel more comfortable voting for a Kamala than a Black American. But I would say yes and no to that, because you got to remember when Kamala was running, they didn't go flood to Kamala like that. Kamala was tanking quick. First of all, Black Americans, she just didn't come across to us the right way based on her record. And then them folks, you got to think about it. She dropped out. They didn't support her like that. She kind of came up right here and she just did that. That's just really what it is. But I agree with the writer is saying, definitely. And she also talks about Kamala Harris being a child immigrant doesn't exempt her from anti-Blackness, because that's another problem that comes up. And the white supremacists home in on the anti-Blackness too. And the majority of the anti-Blackness come from the propaganda that's put on them through television, movies, etc., that they created. We didn't create the propaganda, they did. So they come with some anti-Blackness. Oh, those Black Americans are lazy. I don't know why they want to be in the street committing crimes. Like, bruh, Boko Haram had just kidnapped a bunch of boys. Don't come over here talking about we got crime and lazy. Come on, bruh. Like, see, I'm the wrong brother to go there with, because I know what's going on in most of your countries. Don't do that. I'm saying that's propaganda. And I wouldn't even use Boko Haram as the standard. But I'm saying don't try to say that's the standard what some brothers may be doing on the streets and you don't even know why that even going on. White supremacy is the reason why that's going on. Go back to the civil rights movement. And before that, we didn't have those issues and problems. They put after the civil rights movement and all of that, in the 70s, they started flooding the Black community with all kinds of drugs. And Black men, because they couldn't get jobs, they started shipping off all the jobs to China and all of that in the 70s, where black and white people couldn't get jobs hardly anymore. A lot of brothers started getting into the dope game. That's where a lot of that comes from. Brothers start making money, etc., and there you go. Caused in having a war on drugs and all that, which was a war on Black people. And they admitted that. It was a war on Black people to break our families apart, because the Black family together had really made a concerted effort in the civil rights movement for freedom. And they say, hell no, we got to break this mess up. And that's what they did. The only mistake our brothers and sisters did was take a break. They didn't keep building, because them folks took a whipping and they went back to the drawing board to see how could they break down the Black family. That's what you understand. The white supremacists don't take a day off. They work 24/7 to figure out how to sabotage us. That's just what it is. So, with that being said, this is why we have those issues and problems. And for me, I'm all about, like I said, I'm all about Black folks coming together. I understand some people may say, well, it's been one-sided. It feels one-sided when it's over here. But when you go over to the continent, I can say I got a lot more out of the continent than I gave the few times I went, just even spiritually, mentally, etc. Right? And it's not, when you hear in America, it's like I say, this place is just divisive all the way around. It's hard to even get together in Black America. Do you understand that? It's hard for us. Don't even put the Black immigrant thing in it. It's hard for Black Americans themselves to get together in the same city. We got the same problems and we still against each other, even in our same cities, our states. You think we all would be together as one? No, because we got the same division factors. You got the shucking and jiving people in the Black American society too, that's trying to look for validation of white mommy and daddy. You got some people that's rehashing things on social media that's keeping black Americans apart. Like when I hear people talking about colorism, I just put my head down with that. I say, you know what? Take a trip to the continent of Africa. Why don't you? Take a trip. Guess what's going to happen? Everybody dark skinned like me and you. And nobody talking about no colorism. Nobody. Because it's not a colorism issue over there. Comes from white supremacy trying to cause a division in black people. And when you talk about colorism and you championing that and keeping the different divisions going, whether you're dark skin, light skin, in between, that's our history in this country. Because you got to remember, the white supremacists were raping black women. That's why we got all these light skinned people walking around here in America. We all black. That's what we have to understand. And if somebody owns some quote unquote colorism, well, they lost. And they stuck on the white supremacist system too. Some people are going to have to let go. Some people are not going to like you. Some people don't like me because I'm dark skinned. I don't care about them. F them. That's how I feel about them. I'm not going to sit up here and talk about it all day. I'm not going to divide talking about you got black folks dividing on black gender warring, who making money, all these different factions or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot more going on. And what I'm saying is these folks are taking advantage of those divisions because they want to keep us apart. Do you notice that these white supremacists don't tell us go back to Africa anymore like they used to? Have you noticed that? They used to always be go back to Africa then if you don't like America. Notice they don't say that. Why? Because black folks actually start going back to Africa, right? They start going. They start actually getting settled. They start making YouTube channels. They start actually setting up businesses. They start encouraging other black people to go, right, to the continent. And they start getting concerned, making big old articles about what's up with all the black Americans going to Africa. The year return, making all these big articles about why is it their business what black folks are doing in the continent. Why? What I'm saying is that these people always going to focus on dividing us up. And they're going to strategically allow people to come over here that have anti-black sentiments. I'm not saying all do, but they usually want that. Okay. We shouldn't allow that with black Americans, black immigrants, nothing. Because understand something. Black immigrants aren't my enemies. Black people, period, aren't my enemies. White supremacy, systemic racism, that's my enemy. Because ain't not a now black immigrant have ever done me anything that this system has ever done. And black Americans haven't done anything to black immigrants either. Not a thing. We all in the same boat in this country. We are. And if you treat it just a little bit better because of skin tone or where you from, you being played. Don't be used by this system. Because at the end of the day, they're going to cash you to the side and they ain't got no use for you. But I understand 100% what this writer is talking about here. I understand. I definitely understand. But that's their problem. Looking at me and you and feeling a certain guilt and shame, preferring other black folk, I don't care about that. That's their problem. That's not my problem. What we need to do is build our own institutions. We need to unify and get together politically on issues. We don't care about what they think. Who cares? Their numbers are dwindling all the time. What we need to do is look at what's the new America going to look like and make sure that we have a stake in the game. Those of us who are focused on that sort of thing. Because they have done enough division among us, in my opinion. They've been doing that mess ever since we got here, and they still trying to do this mess now. I'm not for all that divide on no color scheme, and I'm not about dividing about where we come from and or whatever. If you're anti-black, I ain't for you. If you're unity, you want to work together, no matter where you come from, I'm willing to work with you. That's just bottom line with me. I'm not going to sit up here and participate in working for the white supremacists by dividing my people. I'm just not going to do that. But leave me a comment if you think about the situation with this article that this author wrote about. Basically the white supremacists preferring black immigrants. And feeling that maybe she couldn't scale up because of, their issue, not our issue, their issue, what they done to us. Like I said, that should never hold you back. If you want to run for politics, run on top of run, and don't stop running. You know what I'm saying? Who cares what they don't like or who would they prefer? Forget that. We as black folks got to go after anything that we want, and we can do that. We are a people that never took no for an answer. Why should we start now?